video that I commented on that Dapper Manatee just responded to, and my question was about the other Disney magical sources. Now, he goes on to this amazing story about Walt and Roy Disney, and while there are lots of Disney mermaids and lots of Disney mermaid lore, especially with The Little Mermaid, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that at some point in time, Walt Disney World would have been the place where you would have found the most mermaids.
Story time from Disney. Now, if you follow me on a regular basis, you know that I used to be a cast member. That's me. I see you've been studying your ancient texts. I was just perusing them the other night and came across an entire chapter on mermaids. And well, you are correct at one point. The Disney parks had the most mermaids of anywhere else in the world. You see, we all know the folklore of mermaids. They live deep in the ocean. They sing songs and use dinglehoppers. And sometimes eat sailors. I have a theory about that. It's a whole thing about Captain D's. But that's for another time. As I'm to understand it from the scrolls I read that are in the rock under the tree and under a boat in the bayou. As Walt and Roy sailed the earth looking for magical energy, at night, sometimes, off in the distance, they would hear what they thought was singing. Now, when people think about singing mermaids, they think, ah. That's not quite it. It's more like, ah, which how you can call that singing, I'll never understand. But at night, they would hear this siren song. And after a couple of weeks of this, Walt got intrigued. One night, he turns to his brother Roy and says, Scrappy! Roy says, don't call me Scrappy. That's fine, Scrappy. So I hear some songs out in the water. Could you perhaps bring them closer? Do your magicy-wagicy. And even though Roy hated the word magicy-wagicy, he used his magic and in his hand created a turkey leg. Turkey legs being the most pure of magic food. He put it down in the water and waited. But nothing. A few nights later, they tried again. This time concocting a churro. But still, the singing creature did not come. So here they are one night sitting on the boat, and Walt pulls out his nighttime chili. You see, because of a magical accident when Walt and Roy were kids, every night Walt has to eat his nighttime chili, which keeps him from turning into the great beast known as liver lips, for those of you who aren't up to speed. But he goes to open one can of chili and realizes that can had been spoiled. Somehow it had gotten opened and bugs had gotten it. So Walt tosses it in the water, not understanding back in these days not to do that. And all of a sudden, all around the boat were mermaids. You see, by throwing the spoiled can of chili into the water, Walt had found out what the mermaids like to eat. Bugs! Yeah, mermaids love bugs. Small ones, big ones, ones the size of your head. And well, like the businessman that Roy was, business magic man that Roy was, he struck a deal with the mermaids. They'd be allowed to live in their magical utopias. That's what they called the parks at first. If they'd keep the bug population down. Now, I know you don't picture mermaids in the swamps, but they love it. They're also the reason the Pirates of the Caribbean smells funny. Smell like mermaids. Mermaids. So next time you're walking around a Disney park and you ask yourself, I don't see any mosquitoes. Thank a mermaid. And Roy and Walt Disney. Love to see it when people get into history. It's intriguing and magical. Mitch!